Hey guys, and welcome. Another week, another Destiny story expansion, and this week has got really interesting, especially when reading into some of the lore that you get when completing this week. Now, of course, as of last week, we tried the ritual with Caitals, and it unfortunately did fail due to her not being bound by the hive magic that ourselves, Zavala, Crow, and Eris were bound by at the time. Caitals essentially refused to be a part of the ritual at the very first week of this season. She gave in, and as of today, she's now a part of that ritual, so we're giving it another go, and hopefully we can defeat the Nightmare of Gaul that is overshadowing her this week. As usual, guys, we'll be playing through the entirety of the story, explaining it as we go along, and at the very end, I want to read out some really interesting lore to you guys around pretty much what happens towards the end, and a little teaser as to what's going to happen next week, and it sounds super interesting, so make sure you guys stick around for that, or check the timestamps down below to skip to whichever part of the video that you want to. But make sure you leave a like, guys, we very much appreciate it, subscribe for more content coming, and let's get straight into it. Alright.
We stand at the precipice of history. There is but one final link that remains between Calus and the pyramid, and we are ready to strike it. Caitals has been brought into our ritual bond. She is now prepared to confront the Nightmare of Gaul and undo her father's work. However, by my estimates, Calus has already infiltrated the paracausal matrix of the lunar pyramid. The dark below groans and churns with excitement at this revelation. Emanations from the lunar pyramid whisper a singular psychic demand to all who can perceive it. Rejoice. Calus is overconfident, and we must take advantage. Go, return to the Leviathan and
Cool. So in last week's, the overall issue was that when Caitals was doing the ritual was that she wasn't bound by the hive magic that essentially that the others were, like Zavala, ourselves, Eris, and also Crow. So that's why it didn't work and the ritual failed. This week, Eris has spoken to Caitals, and that she's now bound by the presence, the ritual. So we should get a more positive outcome this week, and from there we can then go on to sever the connection between Calus and the pyramid, and yeah, we go from there. So let's get into it.
Caitals refused to take part in your hive ritual, did she? At least she maintained some semblance of cabal pride.
That pride places us all in jeopardy. She would rather we break than bend with the wind.
As it should be. Better to die true to one's nature than to deny it for the sake of survival.
Spoken like one who does not know the value of life. Caitals will arrive shortly.
Oof.
Drop pod breach successful. The ship has turned rancid. The Leviathan's transformation is a spreading miasma. What we stop here? Take the entrance, Guardian. I ascend another path, but I will see this through with you.
Come to challenge me again. The beaten always do. We lifted the cabal from Calus's stagnation. Now you're on Midkeeper's list for worlds lost, not added. They speak of what once was, and no longer of what could be. Is this the new cabal you envisioned?
We built human scribes conjuring purpose for us. Futures that never came to pass. Theirs is the buzzing of insects caught in turbulent winds. When the wind shifts, so will they.
Plant your amplifier and do not linger in the spores longer than you must. The interference has returned, more complex than before. Something language adjacent, but familiar. A translation of a translation.
Ooh.
Your edge alignment was poor.
Guardian.
Caitals, dispatch this light storm and send its head
I will find you at the end.
You stand with the Traveler's puppet against me? You have grown fat from weakness, drunk on their patronage.
Fan turbines offline. The final severance awaits.
They are using the Cabal, using you. The Empire is cattle flesh between the city and their enemies. They will let every last one of us die to save themselves.
They have proven otherwise. I do not fear our enemies. The light is at our back, and we are the Cabal. We eat the mountains. We drink the seas. Let them come. Get on with it.
You were never able to best me, Keitel. That's why I left you to hold my throne.
I was fighting with weapons you gave me. Now, I wield my own.
You are nothing more than a child playing, Empress. You lack my drive and your father's vision.
The old ways are dead, Dominus. I forged a new Cabal in my image. It does not require your approval.
I see, Keitel. I see your new Cabal pulled from the jaws of extinction. You have surpassed me. I attempted to subdue the light and burn for it. But you wield it on your war council. What conquest is more deserving?
You still don't understand. It wasn't conquest. It was compromise. An act your traditions never would have allowed.
You have finally grown beyond the prescriptions of your idols. Despite my legend, Call is flesh. His words are only words, like yours.
There is a difference. Mine are better. Was that it, then? If dead men and sanctimony are all Calus has to threaten me, he might as well turn the Leviathan around and run.
Boom.
It is strange. What we are to those around us, and what we are not. The Dominus was a hero to my people. Self-made and defiant. He inspired many. But the Leviathan's trickeries allowed me to see Gaul as the Vanguard did. Dangerous, relentless, cruel. Those were qualities I embodied to survive Calus's interpretation of fatherhood. They kindled in me a stifling reliance on self, on action, and nothing else. Most of all, Cabal wished to be seen. Our conquests recognized and ratified by the shockwaves they send through the Empire. The impact we leave. But an endless war in pursuit of glory leaves only ashes. When I am gone, it won't be the impact of my conquests that shape the Empire. Instead, it will be the quiet of peace in the company of allies. Well fought, Guardian.
We're going to have quite an army. Cool. Alright, let's see what Eris has to say.
Victory sits before us, and yet it feels strangely hollow. We have severed what should be the final connection to the pyramid, and yet there is no reaction from the Leviathan, no reaction from Calus, and the lunar pyramid's psychic emanations are quiet.
Why is that?
Can't help but feel as though we have not weathered the storm, but merely stepped into its eye. The nightmares contained within the crown of sorrow are seething. Something is coming, Guardian, and we are not prepared. I would ask that you return to the Leviathan, continue to imprison the nightmares aboard it, while I attempt to ascertain what has changed.
Okay. I wonder what it is. Whether it's the Guardian's nightmare next, because that's the only one we've not done, right?
Eris told me what happened. How are you?
Tired and old.
But do you feel like a legend, Caital?
I will break you in half, small man.
I can't imagine it was easy. That confrontation after all this time. Mine wasn't.
You are not mistaken. I know what Gaul is to your people. A symbol of death and ruthless ambition. But he was so much more than that to me. He was an idol. An inspiration to all Cabal. Even though he was born to a low station, he rose. How he rose. I was blinded by the light of his accomplishments. Unable to see the man inside. Unable to see his self-aggrandizing corruption. I refused to believe he was as much like my father as he was. It repulses me how much I still feel for them both. In spite of everything they became.
It's hard to challenge your idols. Even harder to make the decision that you will be different. But then you look back on your life, your own mistakes, and you wonder how you'll be judged when all is said and done. I'll never know Gaul as you did. But I know you, Caital. I see you.
That is all anyone can ask for. To be seen as they are.
Interesting. So my overall theory is that Calus is trying to turn the Cabal against Caital, and what Gaul was saying in his nightmare form, essentially that Caital has gone against what the Cabal believe in and what him and Calus would have done and the old way of doing things. And I believe he's going to try and use that against Caital and try and turn the Cabal against her, which then of course means that the Cabal are then fighting with Calus rather than with Caital. So Caital will have no choice but to keep the ones that are close by her side and fight with the Vanguard against Calus and the Cabal. And as we heard from the audio logs, that sounds around what's going to happen or what Calus is trying to do. So maybe next week we might actually come against a lot of the Cabal army and Caital might be forced to go against them and fight against Calus and her Cabal. Recorded transmission via HDN splice 332410205. Signal origin unknown. Signal terminus wideband open channel from the allspice of Calus, disposed Cabal Emperor. My loyal subjects, the Guardians believe they have defeated your glorious Emperor. How foolish. They look at the bodies left in their wake and assume victory. At the blood and oil that runs from the battlefields, they have ravaged and assume the territory conquered. They are like the old Cabal, sweeping over planets with no mind to the subject that resists them. But I am not so cruel. The words I brought into our fold were showered in riches, given everything for their service as Cabal, as you are now, as you will be each time you serve me. Some of you were born here, you were young, blessed by my hand, with a life of celebrated battle and luxurious feasting. You fight with the veracity of veteran gladiators, you fight for your home, our home. I swell to call you my children. Others came to me from my traitorous daughter, who calls herself Empress even while I still draw breath. Such arrogance. Such disrespect. You've seen her tuskless plans fail to battle. You've watched her cast aside Cabal tradition to bow to a city and their light. She fights alongside the very soldiers who slaughtered your brethren, while I bend them to my will. Who's the true leader? The answer is clear. If only she had followed me as you do. Finally, exalted most of all, you elite few who have stood there with the Emperor from the beginning, who grew fat with strength in exile. We are blood. As you have shed for me, I will shed for you. My flesh, my riches, my goblets of royal wine, they are all yours. You are honoured above all, and when our new Cabal stands before eternity, you will be amongst the first. I have heard the rumours whispered between you, my subjects, rumours fed to you by our enemies. Your hope that I have not been vanquished is well placed, for I am so very much alive. You fear that we are defeated, but nothing could be further from the truth. You wonder if I am a spirit, if I've become something beyond Cabal, if I've ascended like Acreus did when he cradled the sun in his grasp. Allow me to soothe your curiosity. Yes, I have become all you have imagined, and so much more. The Guardians believe they hold victory, but soon they will see the truth that they have ignored with such determination. This road is long, but it has only one end. They serve to set my plans solidly in the foundation of the universe. Their petty attacks, whilst tragic in their costs to my dear crew, cannot halt our purpose. So, my soldiers, I leave you this task. Hold the Leviathan. Show no quarter to those who walk the halls of your home as invaders. It is your final task before you may be uplifted to sit beside me at the end. I do not promise that every Cabal standing on the Leviathan will survive this journey, but under my loving watch, you will live and die in nothing less than greatness. What more can a warrior desire but an exciting life and a good death? Have I not given you both? From the mouth of Amost, High Scribe to the unbound Emperor, Calus, who none can contain. Rejoice, praise Calus, who ascends, for he keeps you in his mind, and there you will never die. We're getting there. I wonder what next week's is going to be. It's getting really, really spicy now. Yeah, I think we've done like the main Severance stuff. I'm thinking maybe next week, rather, we get into the dirty, nitty-gritty part of severing the connection between Calus and the pyramid completely, or we could be in for a shock, and it could be our Guardian's nightmare that we're trying to, or we need to try and sever. Whatever that is, I don't know. Be interesting to find out, guys. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. It's been an interesting one. I'm going to try and do them like this now, where I'm playing through them with a camera on, just so it's more personal as well. And I think that'd be a little bit cooler and a little bit better. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think is going to happen next week? What do you think of the story and the season so far? I'd be interested to know. Have a good rest of the day, guys. Speak soon and take care.